Hello everyone, in this video I'll show you how I went from this to something like this. Let me show you the process and how I did it. So as you might remember, I did a hard prune on this jade and there's a lot of growth everywhere. So it's time for the first styling on this tree. I'm going to do some wiring and I'm going to make it look a little bit more decent. Now, a quick tip, when you are trying to wire Portulacaria afras or jades, they're succulents. So the best time for you to wire them without causing any branches to break is to wire the tree when it hasn't been without water for a few days. The reason why is because when you water the tree, it gets all the water running and it gets water sucked up and accumulated in the branches, the leaves, and things like that. So if you happen to wire, for instance, if I was to wire this branch right here, as I wire, and if I just recently watered the tree, it's going to be easier for the branch to break. But if you leave the tree without water for a few days so you can take it, then the branches won't be as full of water and they're going to be more flexible. So let's get started. So this is my front right here. This is where the base is the widest. And I'm going to tilt it once I repot slightly to the front because right now it's just back. Usually when you want to repot a tree, it wants to be more like welcoming. It needs to be facing you slightly. So what I need to do, there's some really long shoots that I need to get rid of in order to start working on this and be able to wire. So all these long shoots, I don't really need them. That's just too long, all in your face. So let's see. We have some decent taper up here. So great thing about Portulacaria afras is that they do respond really well to clip and growth. That is one of the best techniques, but of course to be able to get those branches in place, you definitely want to get some wire on those branches. So here I am a little closer to the tree. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove all the leaves that are facing down to start creating some better pad, and also it's going to help with wiring the tree because all this growth is just not going to allow me to maneuver with the wire and just get the growth as closer to the branch. And I'm going to do that for every branch. Now if you see this tree right here, it doesn't really have that many branches, especially on the side. So this is the front right here of the tree. There's branches growing towards the back. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to wire some of these thicker branches and see if I can just move them a little bit more towards the side to be able to get better depth and fill up the sides a little bit. Meanwhile, I get something growing on the side, hopefully. So all this growth right here, just gonna make wiring harder. So I think I'm ready to start wiring my first branches. I might need to get rid of this branch right here because it's right at the front, but I'm not too sure yet. I'm going to start with this branch right here, and hopefully I can add some more wire maybe into this one just to bring it. I don't think I could do anything with this one. This might need to go. I could just build up here. This is just right at the front, and there's another little guy running down here. There's no need for those. I really hope that it grows something right on the side so I can get some good branch development. In the meantime, I'm just going to fill up with those background branches. So I'm going to start with these two branches back here, right there. They are not the best branches, honestly. However, I'm going to be working with what I have, and as the tree starts giving me more branches, then I could just maybe get rid of one of those too. I'm going to use a pretty thick wire. This is a 4mm and I'm hoping that I can get some decent amount of movement at these branches because it really needs it. It really needs that extra movement in order for me to get something decent out of them without having to really remove them. All right, so this has been wired, and I was able to just create a little bit of movement, but I still got chance as I let this dry out a little bit more. I might be able to pull it more. In the meantime, I'm going to wire this branch and then this branch down here to start creating some padding. So that is the goal for this one. So with Portulacaria afras, you want to be real careful when wiring your branches because they are really fragile when it comes to breaking. Um, it's one of the most fragile trees that I work with. If I'm being honest, they don't have any hardwood or brittle branches that could hold them a little bit. So it is a challenge sometimes when it comes to wiring this type of trees, succulent trees. So just gotta be as careful and as patient as possible in order to get the best results and also not cause any actual damage to the branches because in this case, I mean, they grow like crazy. They back bud and everything. But with me, I barely have enough good branches to be able to work with, so I don't really want to mess it up. I need to be as careful as possible and save as much as I can. So that has been wired, and I can just start creating some movement. So I want to create some downward movement into the branch. So like for instance, on this one, I want to create a little bit of downward movement. And let me twist it towards me just to see what I can create. Because I can feel it as I'm moving this branch. I can feel the little water and tissue breaking. So I don't want that. I want to be as careful as I can. Need to create as much movement without causing damage. So there's my two branches. First branch and another one. Now, I made a big mistake here with this one. I think I cut it too short, if I'm being honest. I could have let it go a little bit farther and that would have looked so much better. It looks too short now, but it is going to grow. But now it's going to split into two from where I cut. But yeah, that's a mistake that I made, but it's okay. Nothing bad is going to happen. I could have gotten it look a little bit better if I was to, left it a little bit longer right here. This one, I'm still not sure what I want to do with this front one, so I'm just keeping it for now. I might use it to fill up. We'll see. Now it's time for me to wire this branch to this branch back here to create some background and depth into the tree. Alright, so this is the structure that I have so far. I decided to just keep this one just for now and fill up a little bit of that background. Well, not background, but the front. So it doesn't look too empty right here, and then I get rid of this one. I was able to wire this one, getting some background right here. I might need to move this a little bit to the side. And of course this one, it's an ugly branch, but it's creating a little bit of filling. Meanwhile, I can hopefully get something growing here. The next thing is for me to start working on the apex. So I'm going to keep this one as the background branch. In this one, I'm going to wire it into creating one of the paths already here. And then up here, I would have to get rid of some growth up here. And my lead should be right over here. But let's get on this one. And I'm just creating some movement here on the branch that I just wired. And again, I gotta be extra careful because if you have wired Portulacaria afras before, or whenever you happen to wire yours, you'll feel how fragile they are. Like just as soon as you lay the wire on it, if it's a little bit too tight, you will feel how pretty much the tissue breaks just on contact pretty much. So you gotta be extra careful with that just to avoid any damage and set you back on your development of the tree. So just creating a little bit of movement, have it facing my way just because I need to see what's going on, and then I'll show you. All right, so here it is. I think it turned out pretty good, especially for the few branches that I had. I had to make some changes and, of course, work with what I had. I put some blocks to bring the pot more towards me, the way that it's going to be planted once I repot. I'm just going to let it grow on this pot so it can possibly thicken up and grow faster. But this right here might not stay. This is just to fill up a little bit. Meanwhile, this one grows because I accidentally cut too much of it. It was right here, so it could have looked a lot better. But right now it's going to be filling up. This back here, the branch is growing back, but I was able to create some movement and push it more towards me to make it more welcoming. The apex built up pretty decently, so I'm honestly pretty satisfied with how it turned out. And let me just show you at 360. So yeah, I love how it looks. And this is just a 360. I did save some back branches, which is really good. I have some other ones just to fill up on the background, and so it just doesn't look too empty. This is my issue right here, this branch right there. I might need to get rid of this one. Hopefully I can get some more growth on the side. But yeah, I mean, it's great. I wanted to choose this as my front, but there's two big scars right here that won't look too nice. But honestly, I think the tree turned out really nice. I'm not gonna lie, I'm excited. I like it. It's really nice. So I do hope that you guys enjoy this transformation in this Portulacaria afra. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like the video, and you guys have an amazing day.